Vous écoutez RM1, Nord-Sud 98.9, Centre 97.3, Est-Ouest 91.7. RM1, la radio nationale.
RM1, 9 o'clock. The news in English with Eris Stewart. Good morning, Eris.
Good morning, Sophie.
The headlines.
On this World Cancer Day, attention drawn to cases rising sharply in Mauritius while a national prevention campaign is announced. Chagos retrocession agreement enters UK legislative process. Heightened airport health surveillance after Nipah virus cases in India. Record tourism year as air connectivity continues to expand. Heavy rainfall warning lifted while weather remains under monitoring. 21-year-old motorcyclist dies in Mocha road accident. In world news, 14-year-old student in France stabs teacher as investigation is underway. And in sports news, horse racing sees stables finalized lineups and national sports awards return this weekend. The National Cancer Registry published to yesterday shows an increase of 18.3% between 2023 and 2024. More than 3,300 people were diagnosed with cancer in Mauritius. An alarming situation, according to Minister Bechu, who announced a national prevention and awareness campaign on the sidelines of World Cancer Day, which is being observed today. A march was also organized between Réduit and Eben. More on this with Maya Lechman.
A march to raise awareness about cancer brought together young people from universities, medical schools and cancer advocacy groups who walked from Eben to Réduit with a shared message. I have known a close family member suffering from cancer. It is a difficult phase before and after the treatment. I know many people affected by cancer and I am here today to show support.
We're definitely here to support cancer today and all the poor cancer patients who have to go through not only the disease itself, but just the treatment and things that, physically disable them and make things so hard for them. So we're marching for them today.
While 2,841 new cases of cancer were diagnosed in 2023, the National Cancer Registry published this Tuesday shows that last year recorded an 18.3% increase with 3,362 new cases reported. Among women, breast cancer remains the most prevalent, accounting for 37.5% of cases. Among men, prostate cancer and colorectal cancer are the most common types, representing 45% of new diagnoses. Cancer continues to claim lives. Last year, 1,649 people died as a result of the disease. Cancer remains the third leading cause of death in Mauritius after cardiovascular disease and diabetes. A nationwide campaign is being launched because cancer affects many and we need to send hundreds of people overseas for treatment. And this costs the state a lot. According to the World Health Organization's representative in Mauritius, Dr. Abdou Salam Gueye, despite the increase in new cancer cases, Mauritius remains one of Africa's leaders in terms of cancer care. In 2024, an 85.7% cancer treatment coverage rate was recorded in Mauritius, a figure comparable to averages in Europe and the United States.
The agreement between the United Kingdom and Mauritius for the retrocession of the Chagos Islands is now engaged in the legislative process prior to ratification. The bill is expected to be debated in the House of Lords before receiving royal assent. The position of the British government, reaffirmed several times by Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, remains unchanged. The agreement is in the interest of the United Kingdom and its allies. In this context, an unexpected statement by the President of the Maldives in recent days has raised questions. Mohamed Muizzu is claiming sovereignty over the archipelago, citing geographical and historical arguments. Take a listen to more info on this.
In an interview with the British website express.co.uk, the President of the Maldives raises claim over the sovereignty of the Chagos archipelago, citing geopolitical, historical and legal arguments. Mohamed Muizzu stated that his government has officially conveyed its position to the United Kingdom. The Maldives has historical connections to the Chagos Islands, known to us as Foal Havahi, which lie south of Maldivian waters. These connections are based on documental evidence and we believe gives the Maldives a greater claim than any other country. From a legal standpoint, the Maldives appear to be relying on the 2023 ruling by the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, ITLOS, to support their position, although that decision, limited to maritime delimitation, was also favorable to Mauritius. While ITLOS ruled on maritime boundaries, sovereignty over the Chagos archipelago is governed by an advisory opinion issued by the International Court of Justice, which was delivered in favor of Mauritius. It remains to see what impact the Maldivian president's statements may ultimately have.
At SSR International Airport, health surveillance has been stepped up following the detection of 2 cases of the Nipah virus in India. Increased screening applies in particular to travelers arriving from West Bengal. Suyak Hospital has been designated as the reference facility for isolation, and the National Health Security Mechanism has been activated, according to Dr. Fazil Kudabakis, Acting Director of Health Services. This virus, which can be transmitted from animals to humans as well as through close human-to-human contact, is causing concern due to its high fatality rate, with mortality ranging from 40 to 75% among infected patients. And staying at the airport, health authorities remain vigilant at the airport as 2025 stands as a record year for tourism. More than 1,436,000 visitors, an unprecedented figure, and ambitions are even higher for this year with a 1.5 million tourists targeted. To achieve this, Mauritian airspace is opening up further after the arrival of ITA Airways from Rome and Indigo from Bengaluru last year. 2 new airlines are preparing to serve SSR Airport, a sign of surging demand. To that point, Rovina Sophie, Air Mauritius is also strengthening its connectivity. Rovina tells us more.
The national airline confirmed at the end of January that it is increasing the frequency of its flights to Kuala Lumpur and Perth. An additional flight every Saturday to the Malaysian capital is planned for April and again from July to October to peak travel periods. To Australia, an extra Thursday departure will be added starting in July. And that's not all. New airlines are positioning themselves in Mauritius. Aegean Airlines, Greece national carrier, received approval from the Civil Aviation Authority last November to operate 3 weekly flights on the Athens-Port Louis route. This administrative clearance, however, does not include a launch scheduled for this year. Another new player expected at Plenmagnan is Lift Airlines. The South African carrier submitted an application in December 2025 to South Africa's International Air Services Council to launch 3 weekly flights between Durban and Mauritius. This would mark its first international venture, although no official start date has been announced yet. Currently, more than 200 weekly departures are scheduled at SSR Airport, including nearly 50 flights to Réunion Island.
And the heavy rainfall warning has been lifted in Mauritius. Active clouds that were influencing the weather have moved east of the island, significantly reducing the risk of intense thundery showers. However, clouds coming from the north could still bring moderate showers during the day. The situation remains under close monitoring by the meteorological services. And finally, in other news, another tragedy has occurred on our roads. Ganga Surya, aged 21, died on the evening of February 3rd while hospitalized at G2 Hospital following an accident involving the motorcycle he was riding, a car and a bus. The incident occurred around 4:15 p.m. in Mocha. The drivers of the vehicles involved were subjected to alcohol tests which proved negative. 21 deaths have been recorded in road accidents since the beginning of the year. And it's 9:09. You're listening to RM1, where we move to international news, where a 14-year-old school student has stabbed an art teacher in southern France on Tuesday, leaving the 60-year-old in critical condition. The pupil stabbed the teacher at least 3 times and was subsequently arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. There were no known religious or political connotations at this stage. France's education minister has since travelled to the secondary school where the stabbing took place. And finally, in sports, stables continue their search for the rare talent to defend their colours this season. The latest name being mentioned is Donovan Mansour with the Rameshwar Gujadhar stable. As a reminder, other names expected to be in action this year include Danielson with the Gajadhar stable, Santana with Paul Foucault, and Ryan Curatolo with Vincent Allais, among others. Meanwhile, clarity on potential names regarding the various licenses is expected in the coming days. And finally, sports this week also includes the ceremony organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the National Sports Awards, return after 2 years of absence. Figures from the sporting world will be honored on Friday evening at Kodo.